And we have, in the room, we have Ben, Tom, and myself. Rosemary will not be here tonight, and Bill Wilson will be joining us shortly. We have a short agenda tonight, and then we have an executive session after that. And we got some new business to discuss for some things we want to get taken care of for the end of the year for our next meeting, or maybe set up a special meeting just to go over a few things we'll get to at the end. The board and committee openings for your New Year's resolutions when you want to volunteer for town government next year. We have one opening for the Affordable Housing Trust, 2 openings for Conservation Commission, 2 openings for the Community Preservation Committee, 1 opening for a member of the Historic District Commission, the other for an at-large member. We have 1 opening on Council for Aging.
That's actually 2 openings. Sorry about that.
For the Council on Aging?
Yeah,
We have 2 openings?
Yeah.
2 openings, breaking news, for Council on Aging. For the FinCom, Finance and Advisory Committee, we have 2 openings, which is appointed through the moderator. We have 1 opening at the Hamilton Environmental Impact Committee. And the Historic District Commission has 2 openings for 3-year terms, 2 openings for 2-year terms, and 1 of those must be a resident of the Historic District, and 1 must be a resident realtor. And lastly, we have 2 at-large openings for the Human Rights Commission, so plenty of opportunity to get involved, and obviously we'd like the Historic District Commission to get more full group, more full board. Time in our meeting we're going to take for public comment. Take a maximum of 30 minutes, no more than 3 minutes per individual. If you want to speak, please either raise your hand online or step up to the podium and introduce yourself and your address.
There's no members of the public online. Tim Olson, the reporter.
All right. Moving right along. We usually talk about,
You have 2 consent, 2 items on the consent agenda.
but we usually talk about updates, town updates. Somehow that dropped off our meeting minutes, but board and committee updates. But I just want to say, I just want to make a quick comment on town meeting. Obviously, very successful, and it's something when I talked about there, we should be very proud of what we did in terms of building consensus and making sure everybody was heard, because it really shone through. I've never seen, I'm going to theoretically call it a unanimous vote. I think 1 person in the back may have said nay, but I couldn't quite hear what that was. But I was going to call it, I mean, it's pretty remarkable to have a unanimous vote, so really proud of what we did, and I thank everybody, because it was really a group effort, a town effort, so. And can I announce what we got on?
Yep.
And we got our first $100,000 check dropped off at
great.
Town Hall on Friday, so.
That's great.
We are already reaping benefits of it, and hopefully the seminary will as well, and we'll be good partners together for a long time to come, so. Any other updates on that?
Not on that front.
Okay. Anybody else have any updates, boards and committees, town updates? Okay.
None for me.
We have 2 items on the consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the meeting minutes of November 3rd and November 17th?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Do I have a
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, moving right along. Corinne Cal's here to give us a department head report of Town Clerk Department.
Good evening, Corinne Kale, Town Clerk. Good to be here, always good to see everyone. It's that time of year, start planning for calendar year 2026. So tonight I'm here for 3 reasons. First is to provide the overall information about the April 16th town election calendar. Second, to identify the positions that will be on the ballot. And third, to give you and the listening audience some information about other relevant activities and initiatives happening in the clerk's office. So first, the calendar for the 2026 town election. Nomination papers will be available Monday, January 12th, and are due back. And this will all be on my webpage, so folks can access it there. Due back on Thursday, February 26th. Signature requirements are the same they were in the past, 37 signatures for town position, 40 for the school committee. So by law, those papers have to come back to clerks 49 days before the election, so it's not an arbitrary date. The last day to object or withdraw is Monday, March 16th. Sometimes people change their mind. And ballots will be ordered on the next day, March 17th. So on that note, any ballot question language to be included on the ballot is due to the clerk's office by March 12th. Again, another state law, 35 days before the election. And that language, when it comes to me, must be voted by the select board. And so looking at the schedule, it looks like your March 2nd meeting would be the time to vote on that. And as far as I know, we're anticipating, right, a ballot question from the schools for the debt exclusion on the roof.
At least.
At least one ballot question. Okay, so I just wanted to make sure I got the date out there so people move fast on it. And I did notify the school committee chair of those dates, so they hopefully have it on their radar. Next topic is the positions that will be on the ballot. So we have 11 positions that will be on the ballot. The one position on the select board is Bill Wilson. Town moderator, it's a one-year term, so that's on the ballot. Town clerk is back on the ballot this year for a 3-year term. One position on the board of assessors, 2 on the planning board, Marnie Crouch and Pat Norton. 1 on the Hamilton Housing Authority, Sherry Leonard. 1 Hamilton position on the board of library trustees, MJ Brown. And then with the school committee, we have 2 positions for 3-year terms. So that's Dina Lara and Megan Benson, who was recently appointed. And then to fill out the term of David Polito, it becomes a position for a 2-year term, because his was not up for reelection. So those are the positions. And I'll be sending, over the next couple of weeks, I'll be sending out my emails to each person up for reelection to give them that information so they have it from me, and to remind them about all the campaign finance law filing requirements that go with the responsibility. Any questions on that? Pretty straightforward, right? Other related initiatives and things going on from the clerk's office. I want to start by giving a shout out to all the election workers, especially to Ann Hewen, my assistant town clerk. We closed out calendar year 2025 having checked in just over 8,000 voters at 6 events. And that's just slightly below what we checked in 2024, which was a presidential election year. So in 2024, we checked in around 9,300, but boy, don't need to tell you guys, we were very, very busy in 2025. We went into it planning for 3 events. It was supposed to be an off-season for clerk's offices. So 3 events would have been town election, town meeting, and then 1 special town meeting. And I don't need to tell you, we gained a couple of town meetings and a school election. So again, I can't thank the election workers and my staff enough. It's just unbelievable. I feel very fortunate. We're already involved in activity related to the planning for the November 2026 state election, the midterms. So you've probably seen, heard, read about, or even signed some petition papers. There are close to 40 initiative petitions, some of them duplicative, out there circulating for signatures to get a ballot question on the November ballot. We received back from, because the papers are set up by community, 547 pages of signatures. And Ann certified over 1,200 signatures across all those pages. So we went through a lot of work on those, and again, I want to thank her for all the work on that. They're so far saying that it's probably going to be a record-setting number of ballot questions on the ballot in November. So that becomes a little concerning, just administratively, because then people hang out at the polling booth a little longer than otherwise. So we're already looking forward to that. Campaign finance year-end report for all of us, including me, any elected official, whether you were on the ballot last year or not. There will be a year-end report due January 20th, 2026. But again, I'll be forwarding that out to folks. Just want to give you that heads up. The 2026 census forms will be mailed out the first week of January to approximately 2,900 residences. Responses are due within 10 days. Doesn't seem to matter. We're still getting them back in November and December, but they are due as soon as possible, so anybody listening, I'd appreciate if they got them back in. Dog license renewal form and the trash schedule, as usual, will be included with that mailing. It's a good opportunity to get those things out there. So with the census forms in 2025, approximately 67% came back, which was less than the 71% that came back in 2024. So I keep my fingers crossed that people will get those numbers up. So we do our best to track people down every chance we get. New calendar year also means another round of conflict of interest ethics training for all municipal employees, which, as we know, includes elected officials and board and committee appointed members in addition to employees. So there's a total of about 245 people who are subject to this. And always educating people, because I'm sure some of you have heard from me at least once. You know, every year we have to do the acknowledgement of the summary, and every 2 years we have to do the full training. So it's a little bit of tracking to track people down and make sure they complete both components of it. Automatic emails will be generated by the system from the state. That was one of the benefits of them moving to an electronic system. But I do have to continue to track and send emails to folks, and will continue to do that. So when I still have some, 2025, that are yet in compliance, they have a few days. So I think they'll get one more nice email from me and probably one not so nice email. So I'll be spending time on that. So again, I'll be posting that election schedule on the webpage. Folks can see that, and then I'll be back to see you in the new year for miscellaneous other things, a delegation of the assignment of police detail from the select board to the police chief. And then every year there's a registrar to be reappointed, so I'll be coming back to you folks for that too. Thank you in advance.
No, I mean, thank you for everything you do and keeping our
Thank you.
clerk office running as smooth as ever.
Try.
And always having a friendly and welcoming face, and
Appreciate that,
people
yeah.
like to come in, and your open door policy is great, so.
Appreciate that, thank you.
You've been a
Yeah,
huge
no,
asset to
very, very,
our town and our government. I only had really one question, just out of curiosity more, Joe, in terms of budget. Like, how do we handle budget for this thing? Do you run her budget? Does she run her budget?
She runs her budget.
When we
We
have all
we
these
appropriated.
when we have all these surprises, how do we handle that?
We did seek some additional funding from the
Reserve.
FinCom Reserve Fund.
Okay.
So that was one place that we were able to get it from, so. We did that both, I think we did at the end of FY '25, and for the special town meeting in June that we weren't planning on, and then I think we went again in July.
I think we were all right in July.
All right in July,
And then
so-
the school paid for
The
that
election.
Okay.
So, I mean, we had to make some of the expenses
And then
directly.
they reimbursed.
And then they reimbursed us, and I know, in fact, that check has come back. So, yeah, good question. But yeah, it's really hard. It's just
Yeah,
different.
Seems hard to forecast when you don't.
Yeah, but it's,
You can forecast a normal year, but not a
yeah,
year
and then
like we
I
have.
test the numbers, so, in an election, it's usually around $8,000-9,000. And so, as I'm doing my budget for next year, all of a sudden it goes up by about 20 grand, and you're like, oh, what's going on? Well, because there's 2 more elections, so.
Corinne's already asked me not to have any special town meetings in FY '26, FY '27.
I put my
So-
request in, but, we'll see, but, yeah. But the other good thing, too, is some of my poll workers are volunteers, but I have to budget for
Right.
assuming like maybe not one volunteer is going to make it, and I have to pay who works. So there's always a little bit of opportunity there. So when a special surprise comes up, I don't panic right away. I give myself a little time to look at the numbers more closely, but it works out. So.
And your staff this year, just talk about who you had you had an intern that worked pretty hard in your group, and so, is that correct, or you had some?
Last summer, we
That's
had a
okay.
college intern, yes, who.
And is that something you're gonna have again?
I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, although she's coming back from UMass next
Okay.
week, and she wants to come back and help with whatever we need help with, so.
I think it's good to do that stuff. I think it's important to have those
Totally
internships.
agree.
I
Yeah,
don't know if
no,
it-
it's very nice giving people that opportunity, and
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
especially when they're skilled. It's just wonderful. She was a real joy to have, so she's thinking she wants to be a lawyer, so I was thrilled. It was her counselor at college that said, if you want to learn about local law and what goes on local, call your town clerk. So got an unsolicited letter from her,
okay.
and she worked out really, really well. So yeah, she might be back for a few days over her school break. So
Good.
yeah.
All right.
Great, thanks,
I'll
Corinne.
just echo, the gratitude. Thank you so much for everything that you all are doing for yourselves, and especially you and Ann and the election workers, as you've called out. So thank you so much for all
Thank
that
you,
help and
appreciate
support.
it. Yeah, I'll pass it along. Okay, thanks.
Thanks, Corinne. Tina Wilson is on.
All right, Tim's online. Okay, next item on the agenda is water abatement appeal of denial for 441 Highland Street. So I'll give a quick synopsis. I've done some research, talked to some people. I'll give a quick synopsis of where we are. I'll let Tim Olson speak if he needs to, and then the board will speak, and then we'll let Mr. Stephen Otto speak, and then we can make a decision, and if we have to vote, we can vote. So, so I'll summarize it from high level, and then we can get to specifics. But, so Stephen and his family moved into 414 Highland roughly, I think, I believe in the summer of 2024, and occupied the house since then, sort of traveling in the summertime and doing some work on the house, and wasn't fully occupied at the time they moved in. And they paid their water bill quarterly. And then in the summer of 2025, they received a bill that was 10 times what their normal bill was. So I obviously contacted DPW and was told that they had been getting estimated bills for the year. And being a new resident to Hamilton and not necessarily looking at the bill in a way that maybe a resident would, not realizing the difference between estimated and actual, they were surprised that they had been estimated for over a year, not had actual. So Tim's response was, hey, maybe you have a leak. Did you have a leak? Did you have any repairs done over the course of the year? Stephen responded by saying, well, we had a couple of heads that broke in our irrigation system. So it immediately sort of interpreted to, must be an irrigation leak. He had once the bill was given him in summer of 25, he had no other repairs done to the house. So no repairs were done after that point. And then his next bill was back to normal. In a normal situation, somebody gets a bill, then they do the repair, and then they prove that the leak fixed the roof. In this case, there was not a repair that fixed the leak. It was just sort of a guess of, well, replace some heads on the irrigation system. There was no digging up of any pipe. There was no replacement of pipe. There was plumbing work done in the house because they did improvements in the house. So the position is that I don't necessarily believe from Steve that it was an irrigation leak. It was some sort of either a malfunctioning meter or a bad reading or some other situation that happened.
The meters weren't malfunctioning. I just want to correct that. I don't want people out there thinking that the meters are malfunctioning. The meters are not malfunctioning. We've had issues with MXUs, the radio transmitter on the meters, sending to the software. Those have been replaced when we get to them, when we're able to get to them. I don't know all the details here, so I'm not making
Right,
any
but I guess
statement, but I'm saying
right.
the meter was working.
Right, the comment he made is that there was a reading done a year ago, and we're assuming that reading is correct, but it's hard for an owner to know that it's correct when it hasn't had a correct reading for a year. So he's saying they're doing a delta between what they read when the old owner owned the house and what they're reading in August of 2025. So it's very hard for an owner to go back and say, benefit of the doubt is like, okay, now you're telling me that you didn't have a correct reading for a year, but you're gonna tell me in August of 2024, you have that accurate reading before the house was sold. It's hard to sort of prove that out over the course of a year when there has been no accurate readings. That's a position of a homeowner saying, hey, it's really hard for me to believe that if you haven't had an accurate reading in a year. That's all I'm saying. Whether it malfunction or not malfunction, it's hard to sort of have that confidence that really, how do I know that was accurate in a year ago? That was the comment. Right, Tim can comment whether that's true or not true, but that's the position of the homeowner of, it's been a year and I don't have confidence that, we're not saying now I think Tim had it tested now, and there's a testing that says it's accurate, but that was the position. So he's asking for an abatement of that because it was originally denied because it was quote unquote tagged as an irrigation leak. I don't necessarily know that it was a typical process for defining and repairing an irrigation leak, but I want to hear Tim talk to it. I want to hear us ask some questions and Steve can talk to it. But that's kind of why I thought it was worthwhile having an abatement, because it wasn't the typical sort of bill comes, it's much higher than the previous bill. You go hire a plumber, you find a toilet leak, you find irrigation, you fix it, you show the receipt, and then it's fixed. But this is like sort of, once the bill was given, there was no repair done. So it's hard to know exactly what caused the leak and what caused this sort of 100,000 gallons. So it's like, I think it was 160,000 gallons over the course of a year that is unaccounted for.
And Tim's going to speak. Can I put a couple questions in the
Yeah,
hopper?
Tim, why don't you speak, and then we can ask some questions.
Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Tim Olson, DPW Director. So the resident applied for an abatement back in August of 2025. The letter that I got, the reference to the letter was request for water bill abatement, high consumption due to irrigation system failure. So the resident sent an email in or an abatement application in with clearly defining that there was a irrigation leak back in August of 2024. Corliss Landscaping came in to start up the irrigation when they first moved there, and there was noticeable and substantial leaks throughout the system. So all I'm just based off what I'm getting, what I'm hearing from the resident, that it seemed like there was a leak back in middle August 2024, from what they're telling me. The reason for the estimated reads, I don't really know what to tell you on that. We had the former resident before Mr. Otto moved there, had actual readings for 12 years, up until the sale of the house. We then read the meter. We got an actual read during the sale of the house. I have record of that. So I'm confident that the meter was working prior to Mr. Otto buying the house and purchasing the house and moving into the house. From that point on, from when that last reading in, I think it was July of 2024, there was a series of 3 estimated reads, estimated quarters. I don't know why that happened. Like I said, we've had a good run at that house. What I was told by my staff was that the MXU, the radio transponder unit, the wiring was undone. It took them about 15 minutes to probably replace it, to gain, again, another actual reading. So for whatever reason, the MXU was faulty, and we were not getting the reading that we needed to. So we were estimating the reading. We do that to accounts if we're not able to establish actual read. Once we were able to establish once the MXU was replaced, we were able to get a new reading. We took a reading of a few weeks, maybe even a month, from the previous read. We were confirming that the meter and the transmitter was working correctly. The reading was of normal usage. So we were confident that we had made the repairs, successful repairs. Once we got that bill in August, or the August bill of 2025, there was considerable usage. So that's when I believe the resident applied for the abatement. Looking back at that, what I think happened was over that period of time, there was the leak in the irrigation system, and we were not getting an actual read to know the amount of water that actually went through the meter until we were able to reestablish the connection with the MXU. So just looking back at what I have in front of me and the capacity in my position, it did seem like we've corrected the account. We have done that to a series of accounts in town, but it seemed like there's kind of two different things going on here. We were correcting accounts, but we were actually, by correcting the account, there was obviously a higher usage that was determined, as the resident said, by a previous irrigation leak. So that's kind of what I had to go off of. I'm not at the capacity in my position to approve that. That's why I did ask the resident to reach out, and if you wanted to appeal my decision, we could come in front of the select board tonight. So that's where I was at.
By rule, Tim, in his position as DPW director, is not allowed to approve an abatement if it's been determined that it was related to an irrigation leak. So that
Right.
automatically has to.
No,
go
right,
through,
no,
no matter
I-
what
yeah,
amount
So
it
it
is.
comes to us.
That's all-
yeah,
that's
why
all
he- That's why he brought it to us, yeah.
Right, I think Tim did all the right stuff. I think that the issue, unfortunate issue, is that he didn't get an accurate reading for a year, so that if the reading had come out like last August,
Right.
he maybe fix something sooner or not, or identify what it was. And so the fact is that like, it's sort of a, does he owe the whole, like, when did the leak actually happen? Because he doesn't know.
Yeah, I mean,
because
I can see the unfairness where you have a year's worth of, estimated readings. And so had you gotten the bill sooner or gotten some sort of notification sooner, you would have tried to rectify the situation.
But it also doesn't make sense that, like, no piping was dug up, like, they replaced the
exactly.
head.
Yeah.
Like, we've seen water leaks for pools and stuff where it's like underground and like,
Right.
it goes for like.
Right,
It
right.
goes for like, and it goes into the groundwater, but this is like, the reason they knew there was a leak is they saw it. They saw the water spraying from the nozzle and they replaced it. You're, sorry, people are online, so just come up to the, yeah, come on up there and introduce yourself and your address.
Can I ask, but just before you do, Tim, for my benefit, the meters that you have are logging usage. It's just if they are disconnected, so you know how much water has been used. It's just once you reestablish the connection, then you're getting the total water consumed. And at that point in time, it was a year's worth of water. So you have that actual figure now. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yes, I mean, our meters are very consistent and accurate. The issue was with the connection to the radio reading,
Okay.
the transponder unit, correct?
Okay. So it's a digital meter of some kind. It has a data logger on it, so it's got a
Yep.
low voltage connection, and it's storing that data as the water's being consumed. Okay.
Correct, yes.
And timeline-wise, sorry, the resident, Stephen, you moved in August of August to August in 2024. So last reading was in 2024. You reestablished connection with the device in August of 2025. But it's just it's a total consumption, right, Tim? It's not, you're not getting any kind of profile data or time-based data, so you don't know
Right.
when the water was being used, just the total amount over an entire year.
Yeah, exactly. I don't have the actual time frame on that. I just have what the resident had explained to me in his letter of the time frame.
All right, I have other like procedural questions, but that's for maybe before.
I think maybe after we're
Yeah,
talking.
sorry, I wanted to have that before.
Yeah, I
we're-
think after
thank you.
after we talk about this, we can talk about other issues, because we've seen other things on Facebook, we just want to make sure we're doing the right stuff, so we don't have, because there's been
a big
some other
surprise,
chatter
yeah.
stuff, right?
Yeah.
So, and so, yeah, any other questions? Do you have any questions for
No,
Stephen?
we can hear from Stephen. And
I mean, yeah, you don't have to speak, but you're welcome to speak.
Yeah,
but go
no, I'm
ahead.
happy to share a couple other pieces of info. So Stephen Otto, 441 Highland Street. And Tim's right, you know, the first thing I identified when I saw the bill was that, hey, yeah, we had some heads that we replaced in 2024. But that was, as Bill said, we witnessed some water coming out of heads and replaced them. The Corliss is not of the opinion that would have consumed 100,000 gallons worth of water. The system wasn't on for very long. It was shut down. It has remained shut down ever since, and we replaced that with a water well. So the likelihood that we consumed 4 years worth of water, our consumption's much lower than that, just due to those Rainbird heads leaks that you saw on there. There's no way to know, and as you just said, in the course of the year, had we had actual readings, we might have been able to determine before getting a $2,500 bill instead of the normal, $120 bill, what was going on. So that wasn't the only water work that we had done. I mean, we've had things done in the house from plumbing and various other things. I don't know what consumed what, because in that time frame, it could have been anything that happened over the course of a year. So while I did share the irrigation, because that's the first thing that came up, in hindsight, looking back a year, it's just too hard to know. So now we're assuming it's working great. That's the hope, but we'll have to keep watching the readings now, which will all also be much more attentive to. But yeah, that's fine.
So my thought process, kind of doing the math and based on the abatement, and I'll make a suggestion, you guys can comment on it, was that you got a $2,500 bill, which probably should have been about $200.
Yeah.
The estimated reading for the months prior to the large bill, and his readings now were a little bit less, like they were estimated 120, 130, and they're more like 180, so there was some money there. So between the 200, the normal bill, and probably 300 in arrears for the $50 each quarter, that probably his bill was less, leaves about a $2,000 issue, right? And say we split that, as the head of abatement, we split that issue, he pays $1,000, and we paid $1,000. That's sort of what I thought was the math that made sense, but I'm anxious to hear if you have any other suggestions for that in terms of the abatement.
yeah, if you don't mind sharing, how many people are roughly in the household typically? If
2
you-
adults, 2 children.
Yeah.
And, I mean, we're not there in the summer, so really this is, 9.5 months of actual living in the house that,
Yeah.
again, the consumed amount per quarter is around 10,000, so about 3,000 a month, and this is a 100,000 excess. So like really 3+ years worth, which is part of why the concern was maybe there are other faulty things going on. So hence hearing about the radios made me wonder, are there more issues that we don't know about? Obviously, we're just going to stick to what, what we have, what we know now. But
Yeah.
I do, yeah.
Sorry, and you may have already covered this, Tim, but you're now back in, like, you're able to get the meter data, and you've seen a quarter's worth of data.
Yep.
So-
And everything looks good on my end.
Yeah, so it's kind of, is it back close to the historical averages of the previous owner? Sorry, details, but,
It's not, well, it's hard because I wasn't sure, I don't know how many people were in the previous owner, but I mean, it's back to, I can tell you, it's back to a normal usage for a family.
yeah, okay.
It's a little bit more, just I'm saying, like the adjusted was a little bit more because it was one person versus 4 people.
Yeah, of course, right,
So
especially.
it's a little bit more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm just trying to get a sense of the orders of magnitude here.
Just a question, and I think I know the answer, but I just want to confirm with you. When you say the resident pays 1,000, we pay that, we're not actually paying
No,
1,000. We're just, we're not,
abating-
we're not,
we're
it's
abating
not
Abate the
it's not
$1,000.
coming out of the
Yeah.
town
Right.
budget to pay for it, we're actually just not taking the additional.
Right, he's gonna
yeah.
pay 1,500 of the bill.
Right, yeah.
The 500 for the estimated cost adjustment, $1,000 for whatever this unknown leak was as part of his liability, and then the $1,000 abatement.
Right, yeah. Yeah, no, I think that's fair. I think that's consistent with what we've done before in the past for some of these issues. We're doing the 50%.
Right.
We've done that in the past, so I think that's a fair assessment.
Does that
Yeah, that
feel
would-
fair to
That
you?
would be fine with me.
All right, do I have a motion?
Yeah, so I would make a motion, let me just pull up the agenda. I will make a motion to adjust the water abatement by $1,000, whereby the town will pay for 1,000 and the resident will pay for the remainder in the matter of 441 Highland Street.
Have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye,
All right, thank you.
thank you. Thank you for coming in.
So, I mean, I think that, we kind of have, like, a few years ago, we had a lot of
Merry
these.
Christmas. Happy holidays.
Yeah.
A few years ago, we had a lot of these, and so we sort of had the toilet dye thing that you put a dye pack in the toilet, and it sort of, I think we put them in the water bills.
Yeah, we sent them home to people.
But I mean, then we had, and then sort of, then we had some, we've done a good job, I think, in town by minimizing these leaks, but I think it's just a good public warning out there, like, check your water bill, make sure, look at the bill, because I think it's, and if you don't know, call Tim, call his office, find out if it's estimated or accurate, because it does say it on the bill, you just gotta know where to look and what to look for.
I think,
And,
yeah, that's,
and then I don't know if there's a list of, like, meters in town that aren't working, that we can't get into we can't get into them, we should sort of
So
do
the-
more outreach of that kind of stuff.
I mean, Tim can explain this, but my understanding is that the department does, on a regular basis, reach out to people whose meters haven't been read, that we let them know on the bill when we estimate it, and then we reach out to try to get in there. But it's somebody's private house, they have to let us in.
Correct,
So-
yeah.
Right.
So sometimes it takes longer than other times. Some people are really quick about letting us in, some people aren't, some people didn't know they had an issue, so it's just
Well,
a...
Tim, you want to give a quick public service, but what people need to do, and so we don't continue to have this issue of what their bill says and how you notify them and that they to respond to you. So give a quick synopsis
Sure.
of,
Yeah, I mean, for anybody that gets a water bill, there's going to be either an A on it or an E on it. The E is an estimated reading. For some reason, our radio read did not work, or so we're fully staffed now. We've had some transitions over the past few years of retirements and unable to fill some positions there. So we are playing a little bit of catch up on some of the estimated readings, and we call them estimated reads or no reads. We're trying to reduce that number and improve to actual reads. So if anybody has any questions about their bill, always, even if it's an actual read, Kelly's been great in the office. She'll pull up your count, she'll go over your count with you. If there's issues with it, if there's an estimated read, she will send out the crew to a timely, schedule a timely meeting or to stop by and see what's going on with the MXU. Or maybe it could even be in the house, and I'm not saying it's a meter issue, it could be also the wiring that's internal from the MXU on the outside of the house to the actual meter itself. So there are times that we do have to get into the homes to make those repairs. And some are challenging, but we only have a certain amount of time between readings to do the work. So we try to knock off as many as we can, and we knock off some, and then the next reading we may get a couple others just because of our infrastructure and our aging infrastructure. It's never perfect. It's never going to be 100%, but we are making strides to reduce that number every quarter to try to reduce those no reads or the estimated reads to actuals. So feel free to call in, and Kelly will walk through your bill, and she'll also assign the crew and staff to go out there and look at that specific areas. So.
Thanks, Tim. And I do want to thank you. I mean, your department, I did read through the emails. You were very communicative. So anytime Steve had a question, you responded very quickly to it. So,
Yep.
so it is correct. I mean, you reach out to Tim. Tim will get back to you. His office will get back to you in a timely manner with a lot of detail. So definitely use him as a resource.
I
Yep.
just want to kind of say, I think it's important that, finding an A or an E on a water bill sounds like a bit of a treasure hunt to me. Like I wouldn't know. I've been here for 4 years now, and I'm like, oh, what? I better check my water bill when I get home. So I am thinking, it might be prudent for us, like if 2 quarters have gone by and it's still E, is like that we like really make sure that there's kind of like a cover sheet
Like a
on the
yellow
water
notice
bill,
or
like,
something,
that says, hey, we've been trying to contact you. Also, like, we're just getting an estimated right now. It's important that we resolve the issue or something like that. Like I know it's an extra step in the process, but I just have to think if like a couple quarters go by, because this is real money, right? It's like that's kind of stuff that would really hurt a lot of folks. So,
Yeah, and I think you bring up a good point, and I've got I would say it's kind of like a new regime. I have 3 new employees in the water department, looking at ways to improve, and I think they're ambitious and also utilizing the software differently than the past staff that we had. So I think there may be ways to at least alert us on our software that if we're getting multiple estimates, at least we can flag those accounts and reach out. So I'm sure there's ways to do that,
Yeah.
for sure.
yeah. All right. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tim.
Thanks, Tim.
Thanks,
Yep.
Tim.
Thank you.
All right, moving on. Next item on the agenda is license renewals for town-issued licenses. I think we have 2 new ones or just 1? What?
I mean,
these are all
this
of
is
them,
the
sorry.
annual renewals. You
This is
get
the
all of them.
this is the annual renewals,
So
sorry.
if you don't
Go
mind,
ahead.
I'll
Yes.
read through all the licenses. For liquor licenses, Myopia Hunt Club, Weather Vane Tavern, American Legion AP Gardner Post 194, 15 Walnut Tavern, The Post, Honeycomb, Community Package Store, Crosby's Marketplace, Hamilton Convenience, A&M Convenience, Harrigan's of Hamilton. Also, we have common victual licenses. American Legion Post 194, Beverly Beer, Five Sons Pizza, Leva Donuts, doing business as Dunkin' Donuts, Hamilton Family Markets, doing business as Crosby's Marketplace, Hamilton Convenience, Hamilton House of Pizza, Myopia Hunt Club, Weather Vane Tavern, The Community House, Indigo Restaurant, Cumberland Farms, and Honeycomb. For entertainment licenses, you have the Indigo, doing business as 15 Walnut, and the American Legion Gardner Post. And then you have an amusement license too, there's there. And then the last one is the Class 2 license. You only have 1 now. That's A&M Motors. So all those licenses are here for you to sign.
Selling cars or fixing cars?
Class 2 is the ability to sell cars.
Oh, cars, okay. And just, sorry, go back to the liquor license.
Yep, right there.
Explain to me the payment received.
So Myopia Hunt Club, Weather Vane, American
Why are
Legion,
some
they,
1,500 and some
because they serve on premises, the other are carry-out. So Honeycomb shouldn't be there for carry-out, it should be there for,
Yeah, I'm confused by the
it could be,
honeycomb.
on the Honeycomb, it could be because it's just beer and wine. They don't serve any hard liquor,
Okay.
any spirits. And then the Crosby's, Hamilton Convenience, A&M Convenience, and Harrigan's are all just carry-out.
And then what about Harrigan's? Why is that 1,500? At the bottom.
Don't know. I could try and find out, but I don't know offhand. It was an automatic renewal, so it was
Yeah, no,
just,
All right, so what do we, how many motions do we need to make?
well, we just read all of them, so if you wanted to make a motion to sign all of the licenses. So the licenses are here, everything is done for them as of today. The only hiccup in any of this is that the common victual licenses require a visit from the health department, and those are being scheduled for after January 5th. But as of today, they're all up to date on all their inspections, and they're being scheduled now for the first week in January. So you can authorize these. It's not really that big an issue, because if they have a health department issue, they'll get closed down on the health department anyway. So if you want to authorize all these licenses as just read, and then you can sign them. Save yourself
Remind me again
multiple
for
votes.
the, I haven't been in Honeycomb in a while, but I know it's discussion every year. Well, Honeycomb is doing what now? They're not selling beer, they're only serving alcohol?
Right.
Or they're doing
Beer and
both?
they're serving beer and wine, they're not doing carry-out anymore.
Not doing care anymore, okay. All right, so do I have a motion to approve all licenses as read on the 2026 license renewal spreadsheet?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? I think just with the, like, once again, Joe, the caveat that you confirm the,
Yep.
the fees for the liquor license and pending Board of Health approval on the common victular. And there's nobody you're waiting on, right? This is all.
Oh, that's everybody, yep,
We got it in?
yep.
I asked this question last year, but the bakery does not serve, they just food, they just sell it?
Right.
They don't need a victor's license?
Right.
Okay. All right, all's in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you all for doing business in Hamilton, we appreciate it.
Yeah.
It's good, it's a lot of businesses, huh?
Yeah. Good list.
Yeah.
Hampton House of Pizza has a 2 large cheese pizza sales Monday through Thursday, which I didn't know about. Sorry. Giving them a little plug.
You gotta have people starting calling you, asking you to give them free advertising as well.
Well, I just saw the sign when I was shopping this weekend. So anyway, yeah. Somebody going on Fridays and Saturdays. And
Remember
I
we
was
had the,
like, move pizza
when
night.
one of the pizza shops opened up, they came in, they brought pizza to the meeting
they did.
Nice.
to
Smart.
get our vote. They brought
Wow.
the pizza.
They didn't need
not
to.
still business, though.
No, it was.
Different owners.
The different owners.
Yeah.
It was done.
All right, next item on the agenda is
Approve the calendar.
approved select board calendar. So the calendar was in the packet.
Have
and
one
we-
correction, though.
And we only have one correction, was that the, that Patriots' Day is 4/20.
Yes.
And so we need to move that to 4/21, to be a Tuesday. And Joe, there, sorry, I lost the, can we pull it out of here?
What's that? Oh, it was in there.
Oh, here it is. And we have, so I'll go through them real quick. Monday, January 5th, which is the Monday after New Year's weekend. We have Tuesday, January 20th, because the 19th is MLK Day. We have Monday, February 2nd. We have Tuesday, February 17th, because the 16th is President's
President's
Day.
Day.
I'll be
we
out
have-
of town that day.
We have Monday, March 2nd, Monday, March 16th, Monday, April 6th, Tuesday, April 21st, Monday, May 4th, Monday, May 18th, Monday, June 1st, Monday, June 15th, Monday, July 6th, and Monday, July 20th. So it's not necessarily an official vote, but
We
we'll
really
just,
want to do the July 6th, Monday, July 6th.
I mean, we.
The holiday's on the 4th.
Holidays on
It'll
the
be
4th.
yeah.
It's a-
Saturday.
It's a work day.
You're gonna have
Are people gonna
Saturday.
have Fridays, like,
I
gonna
mean, I
be
think we'll
kind
have,
of
I
Thursday
think we'll
and
have at least
Friday
3
off
people
sort
here.
of thing?
I think we'll have at least 3 people here, so I'm not,
All right.
but it's harder to, summers are
As
hard
you-
to
As you get
reschedule.
closer, you can always amend it, but it just like,
Yeah.
it's good to have a forecast for 6 or 7 months, so you can plan when things might get brought up.
Yep.
We have had years when the select boards decided to only have one meeting in July. If you get there this year and you feel like it's time to
Yeah,
go,
we've changed it in the past, like,
Can always change it.
because I may not be there on that Monday, but.
All right, so do I have a motion to approve the January 1st, 26th to July 31st, 26th Select Board meeting calendar with the caveat that we've adjusted the April 20th meeting to 21st?
is that I think Ben wanted to say something else when we started.
I was just like, let's
Sorry.
do it. I just wanted, I'm out on the 17th, so if somebody else.
February
Like I
17th?
said, we just need 3 people, so I think we're
Okay,
fine.
I'm good.
Yeah.
And we didn't have 2 people here tonight, so I
Who's
think.
making the motion?
All right, so moved? What,
Okay,
basically
there you
read it
go.
all out.
Second.
Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, next item on the agenda is, so Joe, we have,
We had, just
a
under
check
new
in
biz, yeah.
so,
So, actually, Chief Brunette happens to be here if you want to ask him. We had a donation to the fire department. We're not going to vote to accept it tonight because we haven't had a chance to put it into an agenda, but I wanted you to know about it. We'll get it onto the next agenda.
Is that why?
Under,
Steve is here?
well, he's here for the,
Okay.
he's here for the later, but
So if you
since
want to
he's
just
here, if
talk,
he
yeah,
wants
you
to
want
just
to talk
talk
to and
about it.
recognize
Or
Angela Roberts?
you or Dan or whoever.
Burnett, Hamilton Fire. So we went to the house for a medical, and they donated $20,000 to the fire department and $20,000 to the police department
Wow.
for our assistance.
Oh, that's awesome, unbelievable.
So it was 20 to both?
20 to both.
Oh, I hadn't heard about the one on police yet, okay.
Wow.
So I guess they haven't turned their check in yet.
That's great.
Well, thank you to the,
And until they turn it in, so then I'm not
thank you
worried
to
about it.
Angela
You know what's
Roberts,
coming now.
Yeah, now we know it's
Roberts
coming.
family.
Thank you very much.
So we'll, I'll have this on the agenda for the 5th, under consent, so you can just accept it. And then it'll go into accounts and you'll accept it to go into special accounts for the police and fire to be spent by them.
Other updates for 19 Old Cart Road, which we had the public hearing on
2 meetings ago?
two meetings ago, or 2 weeks ago. The update there is that there literally is a purchase and sale, like, signed, they just have to wait to go through probate. They have filed a petition to the courts to sort of deny the daily fines.
Dismiss the daily fines.
Obviously, the fines, we're still continuing to find them daily to hope, to motivate them to push us forward, but there's gonna be obviously some discussion about the fines at the time of the sale. So I basically told Joe to just find out what they're willing to offer to make the fines go away, and we'll come back and vote on that.
It's good that's moving.
Has there been any additional dialogue with the neighbors? Are we aware of?
No, Mr. Heaney's providing weekly updates, and I believe that the building commissioner's sharing those with the neighbors. We haven't heard anything else from them lately.
Okay.
The building's locked up, it's tight, and
Yeah.
they've kind of cleaned up the yard a little bit so it doesn't look like such an eyesore, and they've done what they said they would do, which is they've arranged for a purchase and sale, so, and they've got it into probate in the state of Massachusetts, so it's really just that process. He's hoping it can be done in 3 months.
All right. Yeah, if at all possible, to just make sure, for those that are interested as neighbors, that they're getting some of these updates, especially the most recent one, that it is now in Massachusetts probate.
Yep.
And it's probably going to, sounds like, take 60 days, but just so they are getting the most up-to-date information. That was one of their requests when they came in.
Yep.
And then the last more exciting update is that we had voted at town meeting last Tuesday to extend the lease to up to 40 years. We did get Blue Sky, gave us a new offer this week for $700,000 for a 30-year lease on that tower, which is a lot more than we had been offered previously.
Right.
It wants to act on it, though, by the end of,
By next Monday.
Next
So
Monday.
the offer is for $680,000 upon closing, $20,000 deposit to us. That might only be $680 if now that I read it that way.
687, depending on if you
So
add it.
$680 to seller upon closing, $20,000 deposit upon fully executed LOI with a 30-year term, but their offer to us expires 12/22. We didn't get this until last Thursday afternoon, so I wasn't able to get it on the agenda. You'll need to vote if you want me to execute the LOI. So I would ask if you wanted to find a time to do a quick 30-minute Zoom meeting between now and next Monday, that we can get it advertised 48 hours in advance, do the quick 30, it can be in the morning, 8 o'clock to 8:30 is fine. It's Zoom, as long as we advertise it and have the agenda item up 2 days in advance.
Can you guys do Thursday morning? So we can post it tomorrow morning?
Yep.
What time Thursday morning?
I'd say anytime after 8, because you gotta give me till, post it till 8, at 8 o'clock. I can't get in and post it before 8 o'clock tomorrow morning,
So
so.
December 18th.
I can do before noon,
Can do,
or I can do it in the car after 4.
We do 9 o'clock,
Yeah,
9 to 9:30?
yeah, we can do that.
9 AM,
hang on.
Thursday,
The calendar.
December 18th.
What's that?
Wait.
He's, wait,
Uh-oh.
Ben's looking.
Yeah,
And then Bill,
hold on.
we gotta get Bill Wilson too, because, I mean, he can't,
Review
can he
it.
vote on that or not?
I don't
He-
think
He
so.
can review it, though,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So,
He's gonna abstain, though.
yes, I can do 9 AM.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I will get this posted
reach out to
tomorrow
Rosie
morning,
and,
and Rosie and Bill.
Bill, okay. Okay, but I think it's worth having that discussion on Thursday.
Yeah.
And seeing if we're in favor of it, but it's kind of what we wanted, so.
Right.
That's awesome.
And then we can take the money and make money on it, right? We can put the money and control that. Instead of waiting to get paid every month, we can have the money in a chunk and put it in our account and invest it and
Yeah.
make interest on it, so.
Yeah. That's great. Let's do that.
Yep.
Can we have, can you have the FinCom, also in that meeting? See if he's available. All right, that's all the new business I had. Do you have any new business?
I did.
Okay, go ahead.
I wanted to kind of start the conversation around communications and just sort of with the annual budget season coming up. And I don't know if we can get this into this year's budget, or maybe it's got to be further on down the road. As y'all know, I kind of have my open office hours every couple of weeks. Some of the consistent feedback, I receive from the community is around the accessibility of information, and I think in particular in a digestible format. So it's something that I would like us to consider is how we make the information and the data, the things that are informing our decisions, whether it's around timelines or processes, all the things that go into our larger, maybe multi-quarter, multi-year initiatives that are large and complex, that we have some more consistency there, that we leverage more of the tools that are available to us in terms of, our website, social media and Facebook and Instagram or whatever, just to be able to broadcast to people in the town, like, this is what's going on. Here's where you can go to get this information. And just making things more user-friendly, more accessible. I'm open to ideas about how we fund this, but it does seem like we need some support in terms of digital marketing and communications that's then tied back to the complexity, behind these decisions. If there's a vote coming up in 3 months and it's the first time that you're hearing about it, which is natural, that's like the first place you want to go to start finding out information is your town's website or your town's Facebook page. So we want to try to create those natural channels for people to then kind of dive down into that data, that information, but they need to be able to find it, as well as be brought into the process, hopefully sooner rather than later, because I think that's when we have the most success, is when
Agreed, yeah.
we're hearing from, those most affected or from a more general swath of the population, in terms of how people are feeling about it. And so it's something that it's technically complicated to execute well. I don't think it's just something that we tack on to someone else's responsibilities. It's if they're not really trained up in this about how to technically execute it from a strategic standpoint, as well as then the communications language that's required, the financial acumen, et cetera. There's a lot to it, right? But something that I think is important, and I would like to take a pass at getting something into this year's budget, even if it is just to get.
Someone was a consultant we can reach out to get some ideas of options and budgets and what it would take, because I have no idea what would even be appropriate to budget, but we need to talk to somebody about that, right, so.
So just to kind of add to that, because I know you're talking about community engagement and, sort of how to reach the community with policy and all of that. I was actually at UMass Boston last week on a panel judge for like technology projects that the students are doing. They actually launched a website. It's called People's Voice. It's piloting right now, but it's basically a platform for municipalities to communicate with the public, right? So you basically can post a policy or a question up there, and then people in the community register for an account, and they can actually like, you know, respond to a survey. They can like respond to a question. They can be like posts, and it's like, so right now they just have like 5 towns. They have Boston, Brookline, Cambridge, like 6 cities right here, but you can, like, they're piloting it right now where you can actually start engaging with community. You have to get people,
You verify the account before you can.
like, yeah, they have to get verified, and then like there's an admin account that you would post that's like from the town that says like, hey, we're thinking about this XYZ policy, and then people can like sort of like rate it, you know, survey, whatever. So, I don't know, I can learn more about it and get some more info for Joe, but I was just in the middle of it. I was like, that sounds awesome. That sounds like exactly what, you know, something what we need.
Good.
Happy to get access to more different types of.
Yeah, I'll
Media tools, more platforms. So,
yeah, I'll get some more detail and get it over to you, Joe.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
That's cool.
All right, so we're gonna go into executive session. I used to have to read something.
Yeah, you can, in here. Ask for a motion pursuant to General Law, Chapter 30A, Section blah, 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 blah.
Do I have a motion to go into executive session pursuant to General Law, Chapter 30A, Paragraph 21A2, to conduct strategy sessions in preparation for negotiations with non-union personnel or contract negotiations with non-union personnel, town manager, fire chief, and deputy fire chief positions, and we will not return to open session.
No, you'll return to open session only to adjourn.
Or return to open session only to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
See you, Steve.
Any
Hi,
further,
Steve. Thank you.
any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 All right, everybody, thank you, good night.